Hey, welcome to the 98% podcast, where we hear real stories from real people. And I'm here with Justin again from one of the previous episodes. So, Justin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Justin Wild, live in Minnesota. Uh, I've lived here most of my life. Lived in North Dakota, where I grew up mostly as a kid, and then moved here 7th grade. In my adult life, lived in Arizona for about 5 years, loved it. And then after we had our firstborn, moved back to Minnesota for about after she was about 6 months, just to get back close to family. But been working in asset protection retail most of my life, and that's where you and I actually crossed paths at our past employer and worked together. And here we are, round 2 on the podcast. I don't know if that's enough. It's kind of boring, so I don't know if we can really cover too much more.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Well, I'll put a link so at the end of the video, if they want to watch your initial interview where we go real deep, they can watch that. But yeah, so the audience, so just to let you all know, this is the hot seat episode. So what that means is I created 4 questions for Justin. He created 4 for me. We're just going to go back and forth and just put each other on the spot. So without further ado, you ready, Justin?
I'm ready. Keep them simple now. Keep them easy, Ricky. Come on.
Okay, we'll see if I kept them easy. So I always like to set mine up in themes on stuff that I know about you. So the first theme is going to be music. So this question is, can you remember a concert or musical moment that shifted your perspective, not just musically, but on life or emotion itself?
Holy cow. I think the short answer and quick answer is yes. Multiple times. Kind of weird and funny at the same time, because I think my questions have themes as well, and one of them is musically based. I think that's one of our connections, right? So I think that's great. I don't talk enough music these days, I think, in adulthood. It seems like a lot of my friends, they either love country or, gangster rap or some crazy, which and some of that stuff, but I gravitate towards more rock and hard rock and some metal. And so anyways, to get back to your point, yes, there's a lot. I think early on, I can tell you, I went and saw one of the first concerts that I saw where I think I really truly felt like the raw energy of a rock performance, was when I went to an Offspring concert when I think I was in the 8th or 9th grade, and they were touring, supporting Smash. And I saw them at like a small arena size venue, I guess you could say, which I think is one of the best sizes for, we've talked about that, I'm sure, but maybe even on the last podcast, but just experiencing that feeling and emotion, not just from the performance, but from all the other, concert goers, it really showed me just like how surreal the whole experience is. I think it hit me like, okay, I've seen these guys on TV, I've listened to their music on the radio and in the locker room and in the car and, all these other places. And yeah, I had seen other concerts, but you're seeing somebody that you really truly admire, and just their music is good, and like, holy cow, like this is kind of crazy. But then on top of that, it just strikes a chord inside you, and it just, you feel this like energy come out. And I think that was really where I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. I'm doing this again. And, and here we are. I don't know how many performances and concerts and bands I've seen perform. But I just developed that, just entrenched my passion for live music, and not just music, but live music. And it made me want more and more and more and more. So I've just continued to do it. And I think, some of my best memories are from attending, concerts over the years, whether it's seeing them and being with, people I, enjoy being around. Just so many good memories have come from just that one part of my life. And while it's a big part, it's also a small part at the same time. I think you can understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't necessarily get to spend as much time as we'd like, you know, being able to listen to music and enjoy it. Like, so that just propelled me forward. So kind of a long answer on a question, but just fueled my passion for consuming, you know, the performance in itself live. And I think that um, that's the most exciting part about music, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
love.
Quick follow up. What's your favorite Offspring song?
Oh man, I don't know. Like that's so hard too. Like I don't even know. Like I love them all. Like that's the thing. Like you know, they crank out. Like they just crank out so many good little hits. It's like you got to keep them separated. It's such a good, catchy tune. And I've
Yeah.
heard it a million times. And you know what? Yeah, there may be a time where I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear it, but I like never really have the urge to turn it off or change it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's songs by artists I love, and I'm like, okay, I've heard this a few too many times in the last year. I don't need to hear it right now. You know, like in that moment. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
whenever the Offspring comes on, it doesn't matter what it is, you know, they like take their craft seriously, but they don't take themselves too seriously, but their music is good. So it's like, how can you turn, like, you know, it's just, it fits, it seems to just fit. You know, if you're in a bad mood, it'll perk you up, and if you're in a good mood, it'll perk you up more or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're just good at, you know, but I love it that they got Brandon Pertzport now. So the drummer for, he's been a drummer for he was touring with Marilyn Manson, and then
Mm.
he joined them
Nice.
a ago. So
Yeah. I think my favorite Offspring song is "The Kids Aren't All Right."
yeah,
Love
that's
that
a good
one.
one. It's a good one. I mean, it is awesome. It is awesome.
Okay.
All
What's
right.
your
So is it my turn?
your turn? Yeah. What's your first question for me?
It's about time. I'm gonna find one here that's gonna take you a while to answer here. I got them written
Okay.
down. I got them written down in my notes because I gotta be able to read my writing here. So all right. So like you, I have some themes here. So I'm sure the people at home are probably like, these two guys probably collaborated before they did. We didn't. We didn't. I didn't know your who's and themes. You didn't know our
Mm-hmm.
who's and themes, right?
Nope.
So I'm gonna start off with this one. All right. So, given your athletic background,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say, like, you know, you're a sharp guy, you're an intellectual guy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
how do you balance like your physical discipline with your mental pursuits? So like, yeah, I guess if I would just summarize it, like, what advice would you give to others that are striving for that equilibrium of being great in both areas, physically and
Mm-hmm.
mentally?
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question. So
Because you put a lot of time into it, and that's, you know, that's
yeah.
kind of where I'm coming from, that angle, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, it's not a bad thing, but it's not a lot of people are able to do that.
Yeah. I think it's the point is trying to find balance. I think that's the right word for it. So I made it a non-negotiable. So that's kind of how self-discipline works. So I made it a non-negotiable about 4 years ago. Is when I decided to really start getting back into lifting. So before that, I mean, I still stayed active, but it wasn't consistent. But about 4 years ago is when I started. Like I made a pact, like, hey, I'm going to do 5 days, 5 workouts a week. Uh, yeah, non-negotiable. And I literally in 4 years, I think I've only missed 2 weeks in 4 years of not getting 5 workouts in a week, which is pretty crazy. So, so that was it. And then when I think about that too, I think what helped is telling myself too that everything I'm doing physically is also helping me mentally because it's all connected. So I know that working out was going to help me be more disciplined in those intellectual pursuits. You could say those mental pursuits, and it also just make me show up as a better person. So, um, so that was it as far as the physical aspect. I say the mental stuff. So I do have a lot of mental pursuits, but I don't ever feel. Let's just say I don't ever feel overwhelmed with it, and I don't know if it's because I've struck the right balance. And I'd say for people out there, if they're trying to figure it out, you know, you don't have to do 5 times a week working out. You can do 3 times a week working out. But I
Mm,
think what you got to do is you have to make sure that you create time for it because you always have time. I think my least favorite excuse is when people say, I don't have time because it's not that you don't have time, it's that it's not a priority.
it's not
Because
so you're not
if you were, if,
manufacturing
yeah,
this.
Exactly, yeah. Because if you were to actually write out your day, I guarantee that there's some spots in that day that you could get a bad habit out of the way and substitute it for a good habit, like going to the gym or working out or exercising or whatever it might be. You just have to figure out what that is and actually pinpoint it. So I think that's it. Is it's just kind of taking, because I actually did that 4 years ago too. Is was reading this book called Atomic Habits, which is a good book,
Mhm.
and they talk about a lot of that. Is like write out your day, what you do. And I literally wrote up my day exactly what I do. And I was looking at, okay, well, which one of these habits is positive, negative, or neutral? And as you go through, you start realizing like there's a few habits like, oh, I'm on my phone at nighttime for an hour. Well, is that a neutral or negative habit? Is it positive? It depends on what you're doing
Right.
and what you want. And for me, it was like, well, that's probably a negative habit. Okay. So if it's negative, so then what do I want to do instead? And you figure out what you want to do. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. It takes a lot of balance and to your point and discipline. And so I thought, I'm going to ask him because not everyone, even those, who are really great with the discipline still have challenges and struggles. And I think people kind of don't understand that side of it or they don't really see it. They just see someone who they know they go to the gym a lot. They know they are athletic. They know they work out and prioritize
Yeah.
and eat right, but they still, they don't quite understand that, you still have those obstacles too. Right. Um,
Yeah.
and that you have to overcome them sometimes as well, even though some of it may come easier, the discipline, but not
Yeah.
always.
Yeah. I mean, just to kind of dig in a little more with that, since you responded that way, like I saw this chart that I thought was really good because it talked about discipline in it and what people perceive discipline as. We perceive that like we're showing up 100% every single day, but that's not what discipline is. Discipline is showing up at 90%, 10%, 40%, 50%. Like it's all over the place, but it's the consistency that matters. So
Right.
to that point, like, I could have said when I, switched from Nike because my routine was a little different working out at Nike to this new job. I could have said like, oh, I don't have time to work out, but instead, I either decided to go in the mornings instead
Yeah,
earlier, or I decided to go on lunch breaks. Like you just have to find out when you can do it because if you really want to do it, you'll find a way to do it. And sometimes, yeah, your workout might be 20, 25 minutes. That's not very long, but that's better than not going at all.
I agree. I mean, hey,
Hmm.
I'm just as guilty of it. Like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot. Well, you know what? You can crank out, unfortunately, if you're capable,
Hmm.
you can crank out a lot of push ups and a lot of sit ups or whatever. You don't need equipment to we've talked about this
Hmm.
too, working out in
Yeah.
your living room, your hotel room, wherever it is you're at, right? Back, your break room at work or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
We've ripped out push-ups at work. You and I have them pretty confident together.
Yep.
You probably more than me, but yeah, exactly. Just carving out that time, and I think that's great advice for the people.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah,
That was a good question. Okay. Let's see. My next one. This one is about fatherhood.
shut.
So, okay. So what part of yourself changed the most uh with becoming a father, and what part has surprised you by staying the same?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, having two girls, um, a sophomore in college now and a sophomore in high school that's starting this year, right? Man, how, oh my goodness. I don't even know. The thoughts are just racing. So it was a two-part question. What has not surprised me or what has surprises me? Let's get that out of the way, right? What
Yeah.
surprises me that nothing has changed?
Yeah. What has stayed the same that you surprisingly was like, what, that's actually been the same even when I became a father?
You know what? I think it's kind of that's a funny question. I think it's a great question because I think about this stuff a lot. Like,
Uh-huh.
man, and it kind of coincides with aging, Ricky.
Uh-huh.
I think when I was younger, I used to think, oh shit, I don't want to get old because I don't want to be, this or that or whatever, out of shape or
Uh-huh.
like just boring and wanting to sit around watching or something like what I'd see other people doing at that age.
Yeah.
Whether it's aunts, uncles, friends, that great, whatever,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But that that your perspective on everything changes maybe, and it does a little bit, but you really are the same person and you have a similar, you know, belief system. I think from very early age, and yes, it might evolve, but I think with the kids, that's the same thing. I thought, oh, maybe it'll like change me in so many ways, but I think what's interesting is that yes, you change, right? But at the same time, I'm still Justin Wild,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a dad now, and that's the weird part, right? That's the part that gets me like, okay, now I'm a father to two kids, and I got to be responsible and grow up. And as much as sometimes we don't want to necessarily grow up, whether we admit it or not, we want to have fun and do fun things. But I was like ready to grow up, when I like had. I still want to have fun, but I'm actually surprised that I was okay with just kind of like being at home, changing diapers, doing whatever I need to do at first, in those first early years where there's more, attentiveness
Uh-huh.
required. Um, but I think it's just that would be my first thing is primarily just that you're still like the same person. You still have your identity. Yes, now you have another identity as a dad, but you're still that other whole person you were beforehand, which is
Uh-huh.
what I think a big part of the burden comes from because you have to blend the two, and blending the two is not easy.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I don't have to tell you that as a father, right? So, um, I got a little. What was the first? Did I get the first part? I'm sorry.
The first part was just what has changed since you became a
Yeah.
father.
Well, the one thing I will tell you is that I've slowly become more patient as a
Uh-huh.
father. And I feel like I've been patient in certain areas of my life, and then there's areas of my life where I've never been patient ever. And now, I find myself having learned to be more patient, and it's helped me in a lot of other areas of my life, I think. Um, so yeah, not necessarily your first, thought, but I would say it's just helped me be a little bit more, patient in general about things. It's kids are gonna make messes, kids are gonna take long time to do things, and that way, you gotta let them figure it out on their own, whether they're 2 or 15,
Uh-huh.
and just because they're not 3 anymore, you can't say hurry up or just tie the shoe for you. It's harder as they get older because you gotta like, sit back more sometimes. And sometimes that's hard to do, but um, having the patience is key because again, I think, you can't sit there and um, make every decision for your kids and hover over them and try to influence every decision. We should, steer them right and
Uh-huh.
influence them, but you can't do it where you're like literally just steering them like on their
Uh-huh.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Like what are they going to do when you're not around? Like let's
Uh-huh.
let these kids learn how to make choices and good choices and maybe not bad choices, like, but tough choices. So
Yeah. Agreed.
patience.
Because yeah, at the end of the day, you want your child to be able to be confident in the decisions they make. And I'm sure as a father, that's what you want, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Yes. Okay. All right. This is kind of weird because I'm just going to stay in the theme because I have a question about fatherhood for you too.
Okay. Okay.
Kidding. When you said that, I was like, okay, this is, we record the whole thing now.
Okay.
But that was actually the first question I came up with. So, um, you also have a daughter, right?
Uh-huh.
And so what's been the most, like, I just want to ask you, I know, um, you take you and I have talked about fatherhood and I know you love it. Um, but what aspect, like, what's the most rewarding aspect to you, um, of raising your child, you know, given your situation, like where you are at in your life, um, and how it shaped your perspective on life. Like, what's the most rewarding part of it, and how has it shaped your perspective?
Yeah. So the most rewarding part is probably just seeing her, I think, enjoy life at the end of the day and have fun as a kid.
Mhm.
because I think about myself as a kid. I think about how I had fun when I was a kid, and I enjoyed it. I still have fun now. Sometimes I feel like just a big kid to a certain extent. But it's fun seeing that because, because, as you know, so I went through a divorce and there's been a
Mhm.
lot of things, but to see how her personality and her character is already kind of like shaping itself and seeing her, uh, I don't know, just the person she already is at 8 years old is just kind of wild. So like, like anytime we're out places, like people are always like, "Oh, she's great. She's kind. She's respectful. She gets along with
Mhm.
people," and just knowing that like she gets along with everybody. She has fun. She can lead, but also follow, which I think is a really good dynamic for kids and for friends and stuff. And it's just like
Mhm.
all these little things, and I think it's rewarding knowing that I at least had some part in that. Like, I'm not going to say that I did all of it. I'm not going to say her mom did all of it. And we don't know at the end of the day. It might be a temperament thing as well. But I think there is a nature versus nurture thing. I think there is an aspect to both. So it's fun to see how we've raised her and how she's turning out already at 8 years old to be I guess, the woman I can see her becoming before
Yeah.
too long, which is kind of wild to think about. So it flies by.
Well, if my opinion is worth anything, I think you should take more credit than you probably are.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think that you're just a very humble person. But I agree with you. I can't. That's beautiful, by the way. I think, and I would say I have similar feelings. It's kind of cool to see, like, this personality that's cultivating, and there's so much going into it, and it's pretty cool to watch. So I can totally relate to that.
Nice. Did I answer your whole question?
I think so, yeah. And just has it
Okay.
changed your perspective? I think, has it what it or yeah, just like, on life in general. Has it changed
Yeah.
your perspective on anything?
Yeah, I mean, perspective, it is uh I don't know. Say it's just not changed. I think it's reaffirmed that I still have childlike wonder, we'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So because the things we do, the fun we have, and all that, it's like, and it's fun because I think that's something as we grow up. Because I think you mentioned this, is you don't want to be a boring old person watching just Wheel of Fortune all the time, right? It's like I think there's this disconnect where we think, we're kids and we become adults and we think adult means we have to be this way and let go of things. And I think what we actually need to do is as we grow up, I think it's almost unlearning all this stuff that we've crammed atop us and trying to get back to kind of that childhood wonder, right? Like the stuff we used to do when we were, that we have fun with, the stuff we
Mhm.
enjoy, instead of getting caught up in the, monotony of, just work, 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 unless you
Yeah.
enjoy what you do, which is fine. But I think it's cool just to see how you can, like, I don't know, as an adult, we don't need to take life so seriously. We do
Yeah.
it, but there's no need to. We should enjoy it.
I agree. Yeah. No, well stated. Well stated. Couldn't agree more with that. I mean, there's enough seriousness as it is, people, and people who take themselves too seriously. But no, that's awesome.
Okay. You ready for your third question?
I think I am.
Okay, this one's sports related. That's the theme. Okay. So, what do you think sports reveal about someone's character that words often can't? And how has that shown up in your own experience?
Wow, that's a good question. So how, man? Okay, well, I'll just tell you this. So, if I'm hearing your question correctly, what I would say is what it confirms for me, right, is that, well, give it to me one more time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Give it to me one more
So,
time.
okay. So, what do you think sports reveal about someone's character that
Yeah.
words often can't? And how has that shown up in your own experience?
Yeah. All right. That's kind of what I thought, but I wanted to make sure I had it
Uh huh.
right.
Uh huh.
So I think sports oftentimes will show you the the true side of people too, like the
Uh huh.
character, like people's character, right? You think, oh, we're out here playing football, hockey, basketball, whatever it is. But I think it really truly does. People's character comes out whether they like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and by character, I guess you could say who they are as a person. You know, are they
Mm-hmm.
a good person? Are they mean? Are they funny? Are they hardworking? You know, all that's going to come out in the course of 1 year, a one
Mm-hmm.
season, maybe not even a full season, right? It doesn't take multiple years of playing with someone or a group of people to know. But I think it's just interesting when you look back at it, and I look at all the teams I've been a part of, and those who were good teammates and those who weren't good teammates. It's like the writing is right there in front of you, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
practice effort, locker room, you know, attitude, you know, off ice, on the field attitude, off the field attitude, whatever it is. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just pretty straightforward, you know, like, and when you're with these people a lot, you know, whether it's in school, work, and sporting, or, you know, in multiple areas of your life and or friendship, whatever it is, it's pretty telling. But at the same time, I think it's kind of normal. Like that's just how it is. But I don't think a lot of people realize that how much the good and the bad still comes out in those areas too. And not trust me, I mean, we all have them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, but
Yeah.
you really see what kind of character people have, what they're willing to do. I think
Mm-hmm.
for other people more than anything, especially in a team setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So it's like this saying that I've heard it once and I like saying it all the time now is, and I agree with it a little bit. So it's how you do anything is how you do everything. And
Mm-hmm.
I to a certain extent, I think sometimes that can be out of context, but for the most part, I think that's true. And I think when you see how people behave like that, like if someone tends to cheat when they're playing
Yeah.
sports, you could probably assume that in their life, if the pressure got hard enough, that they would also cheat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or and you could think about that, like, you know, this person's frustrated under pressure. Odds are they're probably frustrated in life as well. Like, it's
Yeah.
funny how stuff can totally translate. And you can probably, like you said, like figure out who's a good teammate, right? If they're a good teammate, they're probably someone who's actually really good to work with, or they're probably a decent friend.
Right.
And it's just funny how that stuff can totally translate.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Uh,
it's pretty telling, you know, and I've always been, I mean, on teams in team sports where there's a lot of guys, a lot, you know, so you really kind of get exposed to that. And, you know, fortunately, most of the people are good, but it's funny that, you know, just it comes out everywhere who you are, you know,
mhm.
it's just oozing. All right, Ricky, here's number 3 for you.
Okay.
All right, this one is a music question.
Okay.
All right, so, you know, I know you love music, heavy music
Hmm.
too.
Hmm.
I know you like all kinds, but I know you, like me, you gravitate towards a little heavier side.
Hmm.
So, what draws you to the genre? And I know there's probably multiple, but I'll just say heavy in general. We'll keep it simple for those who maybe we don't want to get too nerdy here on the metal music talk, right? Maybe another podcast,
Okay.
but anyway, so like, what draws you to the genre, right? You know, is there a particular band, feeling, like album that's had a profound, you know, just like I like to use the word profound, you know, like impact on you?
Yeah.
What about it?
Yeah, so it's funny. I put a lot of thought into this actually, this question. So I was utilizing Chat GPT the other day to cross the Big Five or the Ocean Test, which is like a personality profile, and cross that with my music taste and see if it could explain to me why I am the way I am, essentially. Because the reason why I said that is I was watching this episode where this guy talked about music psychology and what it tells you about it. But when I was looking at it, I was like, that doesn't resonate. Like, I don't feel like listening to metal music. I don't feel like I gravitate to that type of stereotype as a metal listener. I think that's why when I hang out with a lot of people, they're like, I didn't know you listen to metal. You don't seem like the type. Like, what type do I look like I
Yeah.
listen to? And they're like, I don't know, jazz or something. Like,
So,
no.
So not to cut you off in your
Yeah,
answer,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
dying because everyone at home is gonna probably want to know too. So what was the stereotype that you're like angry at life and you got some pent up aggression and
Yeah,
rage?
yeah. Yeah.
What
So
a
what they were,
cliche answer too, by the way. Some
yeah, no,
wow.
for sure. But yeah, yeah. So they said with a lot of metal music, they said it gravitated towards people high in neuroticism. So that's people with a lot of negative emotion or that feel lots of negative emotion, which seems like it that seems like a stereotype for the most part. Like if I think about going to concerts and say that's probably pretty fair. There's a few other things too, but that was a big one that stuck out. And I remember taking the test and being actually really, really like very low in neuroticism. So it's like, okay, well, if high neuroticism usually likes metal, then why do I like it so much when I'm low in neuroticism? So I started like asking those questions because also they said people that tend to like metal music are also introverted. They're not typically extroverted people, right?
Mm,
But I'm also highly extroverted. So it's like a lot of these things. So that's why I was starting to ask and I started like throwing out bands to chat GPT and all this stuff like, okay, well, what about this? And then listen to like what the bands were to who I listen to now, because obviously that's evolved with time too. And it gave me some interesting answers. So I came to the realization that which I kind of knew this, but it just reconfirmed it, is that I like metal music because of the energy factor. So not necessarily like the lyrics or the stuff that some people might get from it. It's the energy of it. So like putting all the instruments together and just thinking
yeah,
about like how like it's just upbeat, right? And I think that goes with the extroverted energy. But then also I think about it from a musicality standpoint, like being a musician is I like things to be, let's just say good. I know that's a weird thing, but like I like to listen to guitar that's really good, or I like listening to drums that
yeah,
are really good. Like, and then seeing how do you put that all together to make like a sound that is just catchy or beautiful or whatever. And that's what I kind of listen to.
yeah.
So, because I don't know. And then as it's changed with time, like I started thinking about the bands I listen to what I listen to now, and I listen to a lot of progressive metal and a lot of things like that, where it's like it's more about like it's more about like what's the word I'm thinking of? It's more intricate, it's more intellectual, right? Because it's like interesting type signatures, interesting key patterns, but it all sounds really good and it's really interesting. So
Well,
that's yeah.
no, I not to the technical side of like metal. A
Mhm.
lot of people don't understand how. I
Yeah.
think I know we've talked about that probably even on the last episode, but the technical side of a lot of those bands, people just don't understand like how hard it is to play some of that stuff. Yeah, there's like some easy, power chords,
Yeah,
but when
yeah.
you look at some of these bands, like you're talking about what they do with the time signature changing, and it's just like it's pretty crazy. And for someone who's not really a musician, right, to even have somewhat of an understanding of what they're doing and appreciation for it, I think says a lot, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I can't read music that well, and like I
Hmm.
took music class as a kid, just like everybody. I'm sure it would come back, but yeah, it's very technical to your point, and I
Hmm.
think I agree with you on the energy side because, um, I needed something that was like whenever I was around, like I just country music didn't do it for me. Like
Yep.
you need something that's gonna make you, you know, go right, make you feel
Hmm.
good, or whatever you need that to satisfy. You need to feel that, and I think it's just fun. Like it's funny, yeah. I think a lot of it is. I think a lot of bands get miscategorized and stereotyped, and people like these guys are so bad, and it's like, well, why are they bad and evil? Well, look at them. It's just like these guys are singing about saving the environment, like they might be. Oh, fuck them. Like, like they're going to hell. Yeah, save the whales. Like, it's it,
Are you talking about Gojira right now?
yes, 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 yes. I know I brought them up last time, but it was just hilarious. Like people like they just make shit up. Like they see
Yeah.
something on TV or they see a picture of them, on an album cover, and they decide to assign meaning to it or whatever
Yeah.
with no context or understanding whatsoever.
Well, yeah. It's an inner projection, right? So they're projecting that onto whatever, because they don't like, you don't like think about it. Like any bands you see like that, it's art. That's why
Exactly.
music it's artwork. Like it's people coming up with stuff. And like if you're not comfortable looking at something or listening to something when it comes to music, it's just because you're not comfortable with it. So what are you not comfortable with about that? And
Yeah.
that's more of an internal thing than it is an external thing, anyways.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you have to like it, right?
Yeah,
But,
no, exactly.
but, why is there this huge aversion, So I get it doesn't mean you have to love it, but yeah, don't assign like random meaning to, or, something to something that you know nothing about, right? Because you see
Exactly.
whatever. It's like, all right.
Uh, yeah.
It'd be like me saying, not knowing you and seeing you on the street, and be like, that guy's a serial killer because he looks like one. It's like,
Yeah.
it's preposterous. It really is. Some of the
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
you come up with and that you read.
Exactly. Okay. So this is my final question for you, and this is also music related.
Okay.
Okay. So if you could build the ultimate concert with four bands that currently play, who would you choose and why?
Oh my gosh, Ricky, you must want this to take like 3 hours. I'm the worst at stuff like this because I overthink it,
Uh,
but I think so. Like if I was just, I mean, it'd be hard. Am I doing this for others? I'm gonna stop shaking. Now I got nervous. I got excited. I'm stewing in my chair. Like, do I do this selfishly? Like, what would I want to see, or what would I think other people would want to see too? Right? Probably a little bit of both.
so it's the ultimate concert. So you're putting it on. So say it's a concert that you want to see this specific concert with these
Yeah.
four bands, right? And think about the order too. So who do you want to be the opener and who do you want to be the headliner?
Oh man, there's gonna be some pissed off rock stars probably, but
It's okay.
no, that is okay though. I think. Holy cow, man. Well, I'm just gonna pull from some of the favorite performers I've seen and maybe ones I haven't seen that I need to see. That's kind of, I want to say it's borderline embarrassing. I haven't seen them, but
Mhm.
life is busy sometimes. And all right, so I think first I would probably have Chevelle open up.
Okay.
Like typically I don't even know if they have like a fourth member touring with them, but it was just the three of them before, and man, those guys put on a great show, and
Uh-huh.
they're hard and heavy. Um, they've been awesome since before they broke out. So I would have them lead off because they've got good energy, and then I would follow up with I would probably follow up with Pantera.
Okay.
And then I would round it out with with I would then a third would probably be Marilyn Manson.
Okay.
And in cleanup would probably have to be Nine Inch Nails.
Mm.
And that's a tough question. I'm almost mad that you asked that one. That's just a lot of pressure for someone who yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on the spot, that's a good one. That's a tough one. I like it.
Yeah. So this may also be a tough follow-up question, but like what would the name of this tour be?
Oh my gosh. Check your ego at the door. I don't know. I don't know. That would be I don't know, the Get Your Rest tour, because like you're gonna need the energy for all four of those lineups,
Mm-hmm.
which I would sign me up. I mean, I'd
Okay.
go.
Yeah, I'd hope so. I'd hope you'd go.
Yeah, I
Okay,
would.
sweet.
And as a promoter, all right, here's my last one for you.
Okay.
Thanks again for having me again. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Enjoyed the back and forth as always. I don't care if anyone else doesn't enjoy it because I enjoyed it today with you. That's
That's
awesome.
what matters.
Exactly. All right. So, I know you got a lot going on. You're a busy guy, right?
Mhm.
you're an ambitious person, which I highly admire and respect. So, I left this one for the final on purpose. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So looking ahead, what what exciting development or goals do you have in store for yourself? So, whether it's in podcasting, Ricky, fatherhood, it doesn't matter. Over the next however long, 6 to 18 months, do you have any developments or goals that you're just looking forward to or striving towards right now?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So this year in general, before I get into answering that, has been kind of it's been a fulfilling year, I'll put it that way, as far as like all the changes that have happened in just how aligned everything is with what I want to do. So everything from the new job doing, learning and development, which is, what I did with Nike. But
Mm-hmm.
it's taking it a step further because now it's part of the creation process. It's creating all the training for this company, and it's just nice, and it's family owned still, so I can do whatever I want, and that's what they want, and it's like sick. There are no red
Yeah.
tape, no like, hey, we shouldn't do that, and then I do it anyways. But it's like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you get to kind of figure it out. So there's
We got
that
to
part.
ask 20 people first if we can get it approved.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to go through everybody. And it's like, okay, we could do that 2 years
Yeah.
from now. Okay, well that's nice. But yeah, so there's that. Um, The other big thing was obviously this podcast. So this is, feed something different where it's like being able to connect with people, be able to network, be able to just build connection with friends and family members and people I've never met sometimes on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a cool thing because I think I'd say, whereas that's kind of like my localized, uh, changing the world locally, this is kind of feel like this is my mission on a bigger scale, right? Because I
Sure.
realized that connection is in, for some reason, shouldn't be, but it's in kind of short supply right now. Like we're not talking, we're not communicating, we're not getting to know each other. And I think this is a really good thing to do. And I'm hoping it takes off one day. I'm going to keep doing it even if it doesn't, because I enjoy these conversations. And then a couple other things that I started doing just in the past few months. I think it's been 4 or 5 months now. I started doing the Highland Games. So now I'm doing uh, competitions, which I can't believe I haven't been competing in forever. And just getting that is like a whole new thing. It's like pushing myself, doing something
Mhm.
physical that I've been wanting to do. And yeah, so I competed in four of those, and I have three more that I'll be competing. No, four more I'll be competing in before the end of the season, and done pretty well at it. Like I got a first place here from lightweight division, a first place there in the lightweight. So once I switched to competing lightweight, I started winning, which is good. So that's under 200 pounds. So I've been enjoying that. It's been scratching a different itch. And then I'd say the big one that we're still in the process of, so this would be the answer to the 6 to 18th month question, is getting the band back together and starting to practice or starting to play
Nice.
again. So we've been practicing for the last 6 months, just trying to get back to it. And, we're busy. So we're
Mhm.
getting together maybe once a month just to kind of hash out the songs again, some of the stuff we played, get a set together. And we're to the point now where we feel comfortable. So now we're starting to look for gigs. So hopefully I just can't wait for that first show to kick
Yeah.
off and just start playing some more shows. So that is the goal for that, because I think that's something, well, I know that's something I've been missing for the last decade, is the actual performing part of music. Because I used to do it. And then once I became a manager and started like elevating stuff and putting more into work, I put it on the back burner. I hate that I did that.
Yeah.
So, and granted, everybody was busy and stuff like that, but the fact that we're taking steps back to it, especially it's the same group of guys that we used to play with, which is great. And yeah, and I'm having a blast just even practicing. So I'm looking forward to performing. I got my whole outfit ready to go for when I perform, which I can't wait to wear. So like I just have a lot of things that I'm excited about when it comes to that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, I'm excited for you. That's great to have that back, and just getting back, like, the whole saying goes, just getting back the band back together. I mean, that's just
Uh-huh.
fun, right? And then being able to do things together, the gigs, and that's the icing on the cake. But I think it's just being back with them and right, having and creating again. That's good for you. So that's exciting, man. That's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
excited to hear that. I can't wait
Thanks.
to hear updates too. So, and
For
congrats
sure.
on Island Games. I know I saw that. That's awesome. I don't know if I could throw the hammers and all that stuff that you do like that, but holy cow. I don't
You
think my
know,
joints would support it these days, but
what's
uh,
that?
it looks fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, I don't think my joints would support like all the wild shit you guys do out there.
Well, are you under 200 pounds?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You'd be just fine.
Yeah. Well,
Because
not if
we
I'm competing against you, Ricky.
but say it'd still be fun. Like that's what I tell people is like with Highland Games, I really enjoy it. And it's one of those like the atmosphere is great. Like the people you compete with, they're just like the
Yeah.
coolest people.
Yeah.
So and if you go to beginner and just show up to one of these events, they're gonna talk you through everything and
Oh,
what it is
yeah.
at the end of the day, like after you're done throwing, that's what feels good. Is like you go out there for fun, don't expect
Yeah.
anything big of yourself. And then after you get done after 9 events, you just feel good. You're like, man, I just gave it my all today. I feel great.
No, that's awesome. I love it. I love seeing, and I think it's great to see you putting that out there and putting your stuff on social media and celebrating it. You work hard for that. And it's fun to share that with your friends. So I'm just glad to see it, at least from a distance through social media, because I can only imagine how fun it is, for you to be there and experiencing it. So,
Yeah.
not that I'm trying to take over your podcast, but can I ask one
Oh,
more question?
do it
I see this. Is this a YouTube plaque over your shoulder? I see. I'm without my reading
right
glasses that
here.
I use to see up close. But yeah, can you? What is that?
That's I wish it was bigger. When I purchased this, it looked like it was bigger. It said the 98% podcast.
Got it. That's
But
cool.
yeah, it's funny because I ordered it and they didn't show the dimensions. So when I got it, I was like, well, this is smaller than I thought. So I was gonna have it kind of set up whenever I do things, but it's so small, it looks like a square light.
No, it's kind of cool. But I was like, and then I finally and I saw. Oh, I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe I should get a bigger one so people can actually see that it says the 98% podcast.
Uh, we all know it's that, but no, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, man. Well, I really
Okay.
appreciate you having me again.
You're welcome. Justin, this is great. I like this format too, because I like the previous format because it's like getting to know you as an individual and then everybody
Mhm.
realizing like, oh, I have some things in common with this person, or that's
Mhm.
cool. But now this one is like, we put each other on the spot and we get to like get our real in time answers to things and I get to learn
Yeah,
more
it's
about you,
great.
you learn more about me. So it's pretty fun. So and it's already been, yeah, it's almost been a year since we had you on the first time. So I'll have to come up with something for, you could say, our season 3, whatever that might be, whenever I get you back on again.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I don't care, you know, good, bad, ugly. I'll be here, whatever. If you want me there, I'll be there.
Hey, I like that.
No, I appreciate it. It's always fun though, man.
Yeah, it is.
You're always, I'm always happy to catch up with you, and whether it's text, phone, or podcast format, doesn't matter. Just happy to
Yeah,
get some time, man. Glad to hear everything's going well with you.
I agree. Yeah, same. And we gotta connect more often too.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, Justin, I appreciate you hopping on, and I'll see you again later, I'm sure.
So yeah, thank you.
See ya.